is in the crude oil. Since most of you are actually attending this meeting right now, I suppose majority of you could be working employees. Okay, so majority of you could kind of actually be working employees, I suppose. And there could be some of you who are actually studying. Okay, and you probably would be looking out. Okay, fine. Let me just consider what could be done in the evening hours. Okay, I think that way. So first and foremost, we'll just quickly look into some fundamentals of crude. And I'm personally checking out for some short opportunities on crude oil. And we'll kind of actually look forward to take a trade together where whatever we are going to discuss, we'll kind of actually take a trade based on the same itself. So that will be a completely different experience for you guys, I suppose. Okay. So first, click on bottom left audition and allow permissions. Okay. So why should I allow you permissions? I mean, like I'll be sharing the recording. Don't worry. Okay. I'll be sharing the recording and I'll share it. Fine. So I guess that will do the job, right? Okay, guys. So, sorry, no problem. No, nothing to be sorry about. I'll be sharing the recording. Don't worry. Okay. You're saying audio is clear? No audio. Okay, hi. So yeah, thank you, Ame. Thank you for guiding. So as our friend Ame has mentioned, click join by audio, post signing out if you can't hear. Okay, if you can't hear, just log out, click join by audio, and you'll be good to hear things again. Okay, so if you can't hear, just log out and click join by audio, and that will do the job. Okay, so first and foremost, let's look into some fundamentals as mentioned. And let's begin the day by understanding what crude oil is. Now, if you ask like why I always emphasize on crude oil, there's nothing else but because of the fact that I started off my career trading crude oil itself. Okay, so I started off my career trading crude oil. So to be specific, Brent oil. Okay, so that is like the first opportunity I got after completing my engineering. In fact, before completing my engineering itself, was to work as a proprietary trader for a company called Futures First, based out of Bangalore. So that was the first opportunity I got. And over there, we were actually trading Brent oil. So the company actually looks into a wide variety of asset classes, including energy, agricultural based commodities like soya bean, wheat, sugar, coffee, etc., etc. I was into the energy sector, and I was actually guided by two of my mentors. Like one person's name is Rejoice Daniel, and the other person is Karthik. So these two were my mentors. They had immense experience in the markets, and I got started off by analyzing Brent oil. Okay, so that is the European crude. Okay, European classification. So first and foremost, crude to begin with, crude oil is an international asset. I guess something is wrong with my whiteboard. So I'll just switch it to the other screen. Just hold on. So crude oil is nothing else but what we refer to as the most important asset as far as energy domain is concerned. So coal is also important, but I personally feel that crude oil is the most important energy asset. I'm pretty sure that each one of you would to be agreeing with me. So majorly we can actually no audio. Okay, I'll just write it over here. No audio. So what about others? Like, can you guys hear me? Okay. So I guess that sums it up. Yeah. So now it should be audible to all of you. Okay. So thank you. So thank you for updating. For those of you who can't hear, please. Okay. For those of them who can't hear, there is no point in speaking. Just log out and log in. I have mentioned over here. So first and foremost, let me just mention that as far as the crude oil markets are concerned, okay, so we have two major classifications of crude. So crude can actually be classified into two parts. So what we refer to as Brent oil, okay, and the other one that we refer to as the US oil or WTI. Okay, so WTI and Brent. So these are the two major classifications or the two major categories of crude oil commodity. Now there is the Middle East oil is also there. The Middle East oil is also there. However, Brent and WTI, Brent oil or Brent crude oil is a classification of crude oil. Brent oil and WTI. WTI means Western Texas Intermediate. Western Texas Intermediate. So Brent and WTI are the two major classifications of crude that is traded. Now, this Brent oil is nothing else but the UK version, the European version of crude. Okay. So whereas the WTI or the Western Texas Intermediate, you probably must have heard about the US shell oil. So this WTI is nothing else but the US shell oil that we are speaking about over here. So what I just wanted to tell you, so we in India, we are importers of Brent oil. So in India, we actually import this Brent oil. Okay, so we import Brent oil for our demands in India. So it is majorly the Brent crude, the specification of the crude oil that is imported into India is majorly of the Brent oil category. Okay, however, when we trade in Indian markets, so when we trade in Indian markets, we actually stick upon the WTI as the base. So what I'm just trying to convey is here in the Indian exchange for commodity. So in India, the exchange where we trade crude oil is what we refer to as the MCX. I don't know how many of you are familiar with MCX. So there is this particular exchange called as MCX or the multi-commodity exchange. So just like we have National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, etc., etc. So same way we have the MCX or the multi-commodity exchange where we trade crude oil. Okay, so I'm pretty sure all of you must be knowing MCX, even if you would not have traded on MCX. All of you, I'm pretty sure you probably must be knowing what MCX is and all. Okay, so I'm explaining from basics only, man. You listen. Okay. Now, as far as we Indians are concerned, as I mentioned to you, what MCX does or the multi-commodity exchange does is they permit trading in crude oil futures. So I'll come into all these parts one by one. I'll kind of actually look into all these aspects one by one. Don't worry. So here, when the contracts are made, so I suppose all of you understand what futures contracts are. So do you guys understand what futures contracts are, or should I explain what futures are also? So do you understand what futures contracts are? Everybody understands futures contracts. Okay, great. Is there anyone who doesn't understand? Okay, fine. No problem. I'll tell you. So let's assume, let's take the example of crude oil itself. Okay. So let's actually say that there is one country, there is our country, India, and there is this country, Saudi Arabia. Okay. So India and Saudi Arabia both are there. So let's say that India wants to purchase crude oil. Okay. India actually wants to purchase crude oil from Saudi Arabia. So can India call Saudi Arabia and say, okay, I need this much amount of crude oil and deliver it to me tomorrow? So do you think Saudi Arabia will be able to do that? So do you actually think Saudi Arabia will be able to listen to India if they kind of actually say, okay, one day before they're saying, okay, I need X million barrels of crude oil. India needs X million barrels of crude oil. Deliver it to me next week. No, Saudi Arabia won't be able to do that. On the other hand side, what my question is what if India knows that, okay, Saudi needs this much amount of crude oil. Sorry, Saudi knows that India needs this much amount of crude oil after 6 months. So if India actually knows the Saudi Arabia, if Saudi Arabia actually knows that India needs X million barrels of crude oil after 6 months, then naturally the advantage that Saudi Arabia has is they can start the preparation, or they can actually start the production activity much earlier, so that after 6 months they'll be capable of supplying this many million barrels of crude oil to India. And on top of that, they are actually having an assurance, okay, after 6 months these guys are going to purchase this much amount, or after 6 months for sure, okay, they will take it away. So just think, forget about crude oil, guys. Have you ever purchased, how many of you have conducted a party in your house where you ordered the food from outside? How many of you have conducted a party of like 20 people or something, when you have ordered your food from outside? I'm pretty sure that each person has done, right? So yeah, so just think about this. You are conducting a party in your house. Do you actually think you just go give the order maybe some 1 hour before the people who are doing the catering is going to deliver you that much amount of food? No, you had to tell them maybe 2 to 3 days before at least. So you should be saying, okay, we are going to conduct this particular party after 3 days, and for us to deliver this much amount of food, how much time you'll take, you'll have to pay the advance, etc., etc. So just like booking a birthday cake, you had to tell them beforehand. You had to tell them like 3 hours or 2 hours beforehand. They'll do all the decoration, they'll do all the creativity, they'll write your name, then they'll give you. So futures contract in the simplest form, I could say, it is a contract between the buyer and seller to execute a transaction at a later point of time. So when you're going to pre-book a birthday cake, you are basically the bakery guy and you are making a futures contract where you are agreeing to purchase the cake maybe after 3 hours, and the bakery guy is actually agreeing to sell this particular cake to you after 3 hours. And for making that contract, what do you pay? You kind of actually pay something like an advance amount. So you kind of actually pay, maybe if the cake is costing some 1,000 rupees, you probably would be paying maybe 300 rupees or 400 rupees as advance. So why does the bakery guy do that? So he is also guaranteed that, okay, after writing happy birthday Sneha or happy birthday Srihari or happy birthday Srijit, you can't back off. So your 300 is with them. So what is going to happen? If your name is written, who else will buy? So will Sneha buy a cake if Srihari's name is written? No. So that is why this contract is actually being created between the bakery guy and between you. Exactly the same manner, we have contracts happening between companies. We have contracts happening between countries. Okay, for crude oil. Okay, so we kind of actually have contracts happening between the buyers and sellers, where the buyer and the seller would be mutually agreeing to buy crude oil or sell crude oil at a later point of time. So as just like in any other contract, there are 2-3 things that is going to be there. So first and foremost, there is going to be an agreement between the buyer and seller, where the buyer as well as the seller decides at what time we want to exercise the contract. For example, today is an expiry day. So so let's kind of actually say today is an expiry day. Okay, let's forget about today. Let's take, so right now we are in October. So let's say that, okay, let's take a random example. Let's say that I want this crude oil to be delivered to me on, let's say, 1st December. Just a random example. Okay, let's forget about today. Let's take a random example so that we have some time and you can follow it better. So 1st December. So India wants X million barrels of crude oil from Saudi Arabia on 1st December. And Saudi Arabia, they are also fine with supplying X million barrels of crude oil to India on 1st December. So a futures contract is going to be made between India and Saudi. So India is the buyer and Saudi is the seller. So India as a buyer, they are actually promising to purchase crude from Saudi, and Saudi as a seller is promising to supply this X million barrels of crude oil to India. So both the parties are happy. India is having an assurance that, okay, Saudi is going to give me this much crude. And Saudi is having an assurance that, okay, after these many days, India is going to purchase it from them. So for that, entering into this contract, India will actually pay an advance amount. Okay. And Saudi will kind of actually just receive this advance amount. And just a second. Yeah. So the good thing about these futures contracts is the fact that both India and Saudi Arabia, both of these people, they have an assurance, okay, this transaction is going to take place. Now, let's understand the scenario where it kind of comes to our Indian markets, or as far as our MCX guidelines are concerned. So any idea like how many of you are trading the Indian equity market? So how many of you are already trading the equity markets? So how many of you out here are already trading the Indian equity markets? So how many of you out here? Okay. So tell me, friends, like if you are trading the Indian equity markets, so today we kind of actually had a good dip happening in Nifty post uh, post 1 o'clock, right? So today we had some sort of a good dip happening in Nifty after one. So many stocks actually saw some sort of a profit booking. So may I ask you this question? Okay. Do you think crude oil prices can be determined by a single country or a single company? So if somebody wants to, like, if there is some sort of an extreme bullishness in India, all the stocks in India could be really bullish. But do you think that one single country or company can actually kind of uh, put in a huge role in the pricing of crude oil? Do you think? Same way in the pricing of gold. Gold is also a commodity. In fact, I just wanted to mention one very interesting question. One of my friends basically had asked. Okay, so he basically asked, okay, all the jewelry shops are kind of closed. Okay, so he kind of actually asked during the last lockdown, all the jewelry shops are basically closed. So he was kind of actually asking, even though all the jewelries are basically closed, then how is the price of gold going up? So this particular friend, he was actually thinking the price of gold is going up because of the fact that people are going to the shop and purchasing. Just because of the fact that people are purchasing bangles and necklaces. That is the reason that is driving the price of gold. So do you think one particular place or one particular area would be capable of driving the price of any particular asset? No. In fact, this gold, silver, crude, natural gas, etc., they are actually global assets. They are kind of actually global asset classes. And what happens with global asset classes is the fact that whatever supply and demand is actually happening around the world, all these things would actually play a role. It is not just one single company or one single person or one single instance can actually drive the prices. There's a lot of factors that is going to affect the pricing of crude. So supply and demand around the world matters. So let's say, let me just ask you this question. So let's say that I'll just give you a quick example. Let's take an example that the price of gold, let's assume it to be 100 rupees per gram. Okay. Rupees 100 per gram is the pricing of gold right now. So rupees 100 per gram, nobody is willing to purchase gold at 100 rupees. Okay, forget about 100. Let's take it to be 10,000. Rupees 10,000 per gram is the pricing of gold right now in a jewelry shop. People feel that, okay, 1,000 rupees per 10,000 rupees per gram is too expensive. In fact, it is. I just quickly just lost my, what do you say? I just quickly lost my, this thing, like network. So we have heavy rains happening over here. So due to which our network is a bit disturbed. Okay. I guess I'm perfectly audible again. So am I audible back? Like am I perfectly audible? Yeah, great. So what I just wanted to convey. So 10,000 rupees is the price per gram of gold. in India. So nobody is buying gold from jewelry because people are finding it too expensive to purchase. So let's say that next day the price of gold is rising to 11,000 rupees per gram in the international markets. So the price of gold has actually picked up to 11,000 gram in the international market. So do you actually think that the jewelers are going to give it at a discount rate because nobody is going to buy it? So do you actually think the jewelers would be willing to sell it off to you at a discount rate just because at 10,000 rupee everybody is finding it expensive? Do you think that way? So what do you feel? So just let me know through the chat box you're feeling. No. Obviously, they won't be selling because that is the price. 11,000 rupees per gram is the price in the international markets. So obviously, they'll kind of actually keep it. They probably must have bought it for 4,000 rupees per gram, 4,627. That is my average entry in gold. 4,627 is my average entry price. So they might hold it. Okay. So what I just wanted to convey to you is, even if there is no buyer in Indian market or there is no seller in Indian market, doesn't mean the price of gold or crude is going to stay stagnant. Depending on the price of the commodity in the international markets, the asset prices or the crude oil prices in Indian markets will also change. So there are people who told, I have friends who have mentioned, okay, petrol prices are rising. Let's not go to petrol pumps. Let's not actually buy any fuel. They'll reduce the prices. Do you think it is going to happen? No. So if crude oil prices are to shoot up, they'll keep on increasing, no matter what. Okay. And in this case, like, so what I just wanted to point out is, as far as Indian markets are concerned, as far as like some shares uh, like listed in India is concerned. So let's talk about the companies listed in India. IRCTC. Let's kind of actually talk about VGuard. Let's kind of actually talk about in any company listed out over here. So you probably would be thinking, okay, the people in India are majorly driving the prices, the people in the Indian market. But when it kind of comes to commodities like crude, people all over the world are trading. So it can't be like, okay, Indian market prices going up and international prices falling down, because it is the same thing. See guys, like the gold you buy over here and the gold you buy somewhere else, okay, the constitution would be a bit different, but more or less it's the same asset. Okay, it would be actually the same asset that is being traded here and there. So what I just wanted to say, the pricing is interrelated. Any sort of an international commodity that you take, the pricing is actually going to be interrelated. Okay, now I'll just show you some charts and then we'll understand the concepts a bit more better. Okay. So may I ask you, like, do you guys actually have any queries on whatever we had discussed till now? Is there any queries that you guys have? Is there any kind of queries you would like to ask? Till now, whatever we have mentioned, is there any queries you would like to ask? So just let me know through the chat box. They'll sell with the network. Okay. Missed our MCX part that you, okay, I'll come into that, Vijayta. Just wait. So may I ask you this question? Just let me know your questions that you had till now. See, that is what I'm coming into, man. Just wait. Okay. I'm coming into everything, Ajit. Just wait. So let's kind of clear some queries that you probably would have. Does BPSL price and crude oil any interrelated? Yeah, sure. So as far as the crude oil marketing company, so BPCL and all, so they're basically, they're actually, what do you say? They're basically into the sales, right? So what do you think is going to happen with the sales? Like if the crude prices are rising. So if they have actually got the produce, see, as far as India is concerned, during this crash, like you must have actually got to know regarding the fact that crude oil prices actually came down to even negative values. India had actually accumulated a lot of crude during that time. Okay, so right now the price has picked up. So they're still selling at the rates as per the present pricing. So India actually has an advantage. So BPCL and all, like as far as their profitability is concerned, there is nothing wrong. Nothing wrong happening, because India has actually accumulated a lot of crude. Okay. Then we have a question: does crude oil has option contract? Yes, crude oil has options contract, but it is not at all liquid. I'll show you that. We're coming into that. Best crude oil strategy. So it's not something that I can explain in 1 or 2 minutes. We're getting into it one by one. I'll show you a trade. Don't worry, like I'm just checking out for a short opportunity. If we get it, we'll trade. Is crude oil prices are not decided by traders. How does the price rise and fall? That's what I said, Shah. See, as far as crude oil is concerned, it is not traders who drive the price. In fact, OPEC. Okay, have you heard about OPEC? This body called as OPEC, Organization of, yeah. So OPEC majorly has board meetings where they actually decide how much amount of crude they have to produce during any particular month. They decide, okay, how much amount to produce, like what should be their supply. So they decide, okay, how much is the demand. So based upon that, how much should be the crude oil supply. So all the countries, members of the OPEC, they kind of actually decide, okay, how much amount we should be producing in any particular month. So they are capable of controlling the supply and demand up to a very good extent. So let's say that OPEC is actually deciding, okay, let's kind of actually manufacture a lot of crude. That is more than the present demand. So naturally, what do you expect to happen to the crude oil pricing? So if OPEC basically decides to manufacture more crude oil than the present demand that is present in the market, that is supply is more than demand, naturally, we can expect the crude oil prices to take some sort of a dip. On the other hand side, let's say OPEC is actually going to decide, okay, let's actually produce crude oil lesser than the present demand in the market scenario. So that is actually going to create an extra demand as compared to the present supply. So we could expect a spike in the price of crude oil. So that is a completely whole different game. In fact, always OPEC like does in favor of their members itself. See, OPEC really doesn't want people to benefit from the crude oil prices. They actually want to make the equilibrium for them so that their profitability is maintained constant. That is what they look out for. Okay. Does a BPSL price and crude oil have any interrelation? Yes, they have an interrelation. You just think about this. So what do you think is going to happen to their profitability if crude oil prices rise? If crude oil prices rise, naturally BPCL, they will also be having to their like raw material cost. Okay, the purchasing cost would also increase. So naturally we can expect the profitability to decrease. However, present market situation is that as far as India is concerned, okay, as far as India is concerned, so during the crash that we had, India has actually accumulated a lot of crude. Okay, and even Saudi has actually asked India to bring out all the crude oil that they have purchased during the time of the crash. Okay, so India has purchased a lot of crude, in fact. So that is what we get to like read and learn from the interactions happening between countries, companies, etc. So their profitability would naturally increase. Then one more thing is there. Have you heard about paint companies? So any idea? So after this, we'll move towards the next topic. Have you heard about the paint company? So what does the paint companies use as their raw materials? So what does the paint companies use as their raw materials? Any idea? So paint companies actually use, yeah. So crude oil byproducts as their raw materials. So may I ask you this question? Okay. So what do you think is going to happen to the pricing of paint if crude oil prices go up? What is going to happen to the pricing of paint if crude oil prices go up? Naturally, the pricing will increase. Okay, the pricing has to be increased. Or if the pricing is kept the same, what will happen to the profitability of the paint manufacturing companies? What will happen to the profitability of the companies? What do you think is going to happen to the profitability of the companies if the crude pricing is to rise? Naturally, crude oil pricing means usually we see that companies like Asian Paints, they have a dip in stock prices. Why? Because with crude oil prices rising, we can actually expect a decrease in profitability for the companies. Their operating profits could actually decrease. So what those kind of interrelations are there? So I'm not going to get much into that. So let's focus on commodities itself. Okay. Now, one more question I have for you is, as far as the world is concerned, we personally, okay, we kind of actually consider crude as an angel commodity. So crude oil is actually considered as an angel commodity, whereas gold is considered as a devil commodity. Now, if you ask me why, the answer is pretty simple. So what are the instances when gold prices shoot up? So I'm pretty sure you probably must have observed that gold prices actually shoot up at times when there is huge uncertainty around the world. That is when war is happening, when there is some sort of a pandemic, etc., etc. Those are the situations when we usually see gold prices rising. On the other hand side, we kind of actually witness for ourselves that crude oil prices rises when there is prosperity around the world. Things are actually normal. Increased price of crude oil means increased demand for energy. So what does the increased demand for energy mean? Increased demand for energy means more and more development activities taking place, more and more like job opportunities created, etc., etc. Okay, so I simply wanted to convey to you that is the reason we consider gold to be a devil commodity and crude oil to be an angel commodity. Now let's come into the topic. Let's actually kind of just move into the topic. We might get a short opportunity pretty soon. Yeah, so we probably might get a short opportunity pretty soon in crude oil. So let's not, just a second. Cool. So we might get an opportunity, either a short or a long side opportunity. Okay. So first and foremost, I wanted to convey, if you are to trade, so guys, please wait. Okay. Please kind of actually wait. I'll come into that. You can trade crude oil anywhere. You can trade in Saroda, Upstocks, you can trade in Fires, whichever broker you want, ask that trading, whichever broker you want, you can trade. Now I'll discuss about the margin part. You can actually decide which broker you would like. Okay. So first and foremost, once again, we are going to trade in MCX, multi-commodity exchange. And over here, what we are going to trade is the crude oil futures. Okay. So it is actually going to be the crude oil futures that is going to be traded. So now you guys know what crude oil futures are. I'll just quickly show you an example. I'll show you the example on Saroda. So I'll kind of actually show you a trade on this thing, Motilal Oswal also. Both I'll show you. So let me just take out the charts. So friends, I hope you can see my chart right now. Like I suppose you can actually see my chart at this point of time. So this is the charting platform of Saroda. Okay, most of you must already be familiar with Saroda, I'm pretty sure. So can you see the screen right now? Yeah. So I'll just quickly take the chart of crude oil futures. Yeah. So over here, so what you had to type for is nothing else, search for crude. And over here, you can actually see the crude oil October futures right now. Okay. So, but at this particular point of time, what I just wanted to add to you is like, because of the expiry, my God, it's a wrong chart. So crude oil October future. So because of the expiry happening, so let's focus on the November future. Okay. So we personally always start from a top-down analysis in crude. Okay. So I'll just show you that also. So what do you mean by top-down analysis? So top-down analysis meaning you actually, okay, you kind of actually look into the larger time frame first, okay, and then you kind of actually look into the shorter time frame. So once again, over here, you're seeing the chart of crude oil in the daily charts. So what is the price of crude right now? So what do you actually see for yourself? What is the price of crude oil right now? 6187. Okay. So first and foremost important part to be noted is the fact that, see, Reliance shares can go from 2000 to 2000 2000 to 2000.05 to 2000.1, 2000.15, 2000.2, etc., etc. Tata Motors, it can go from like 400 to 400.05, 400.1, and so on. Whereas when it kind of comes to crude oil, so just realize out for yourself, the smallest movement, okay, or what we refer to as the tick size is 1 point. That is from 6183, crude oil can actually go to 6184, then 6185, then 6186, 6187. So what I just wanted to convey to you, so don't expect crude oil to move from 6184 to 6184.03 or 04 like that. Okay, so it is going to be unit 1 rupee movements from 6186. You can expect it to go to 6187 and so on. So that is going to be the least movement, or that is what we refer to as the tick size. So it's going to be in multiples of 1. The movement is going to happen from 6186. It might go to 6187, or it might come down to 6185. So don't expect it to go to 6187.5 or 6187.8. Don't think that way. So it is going to be in multiples of 1 that the movements are actually going to happen over here in the case of crude oil. So one more thing, one very important thing. So this is actually the thing that we are going to trade. So when I'm referring to the thing, if you are in India and if you want to take trades, you're going to trade on MCX, and these are going to be the charts that you're actually going to follow. And in fact, I'm actually checking out for a long side opportunity based on the breaking of this level. I'll tell you the reason later, because if I wait to tell the reason, I might not get the trade. Okay, so after the trade, I'll tell you the reason. I'm checking out for a long side opportunity based on the breakout of that particular high. Everything I'll tell you wait. So tick size, I guess everybody is familiar with 6190 to 6191 and so on. May I ask you this question? Okay, may I kind of actually ask you this particular question? So people who are already trading futures, you know that. One more very important aspect is that, friends, whenever you are actually to trade in crude oil, if I want to purchase one share of Reliance, I can do. If I want to purchase one share of Tata Motors, I can do. But if you want to trade one unit of crude oil or any futures contracts, just keep this in your mind. You'll have to trade in lots. As far as crude oil is concerned, one lot is 100 barrels. Okay. So if you're purchasing one lot of crude oil, once again, I'm mentioning. So if you're trading in crude oil, you'll actually have to purchase it in lots, in multiple lots. It is going to be in multiples of lots that you'll kind of actually have to place your trades. So what I just wanted to convey to you is, if you are to purchase one unit of crude oil, it is going to be 100 barrels. So what is 100 barrels? So 1 barrel, 2 barrel, no, you can't purchase 1 barrel or 2 barrel, but you can only purchase in a minimum of 100 barrels. You get that? So is it clear for everyone? Yeah, one lot is 100 barrels, as simple as that. So that is the minimum size that you can actually trade in crude oil, not less than that. Okay, so that is the same thing with futures. So if you want to trade in Nifty, right now the lot size of Nifty is 50. So if you want to trade Nifty futures, you kind of actually need to buy a minimum of 50 quantity, right? If you want to trade in Bank Nifty, the minimum size or the lot size is 25. Now next, if you want to buy 25, multiples of 25 is only you can buy. You can buy 50, you can buy 75, you can buy 100 and so on. Same way, when you're trading in crude oil, it is going to be in multiples of hundreds that you have to trade. Okay, so one lot is 100 barrels. So I hope that part is clear for everyone right now. Is it clear? So friends, is it clear for each one of you right now? Right? Great. Now, may I ask you this particular question? So if we are to kind of actually trade in multiples of this, like if we are to kind of actually purchase in multiples of hundreds. So if there is a 1 rupee move in crude oil, if there is a 1 rupee upside move in crude oil, what do you think is going to be the profit that you're going to make? 1 rupee move on the upside. So what do you think is going to be the profit that you're going to make if there is 1 rupee move in crude oil? So I'm just looking out for a buy position. Just enter it soon, as soon as this high is getting broken. So I'll explain the logic, everything at the end, like after the basics is done. Exactly. So 100 rupees is going to be the profit that you're going to make. Okay. So may I ask you this particular question? If 100 rupees is actually going to be the profit that you're kind of actually going to make, okay. What if there is a 10-point downside move in crude oil? So what if there is going to be a 10-point downside move in crude oil? So what is the loss that you're going to make if there is a 10-point downside move in crude oil? So what do you think? So just tell me, friends. So what do you basically think is going to be the loss that you're kind of actually going to make if there is like a 10-point downside move in crude? What do you think? Just try answering at least. Okay, I don't expect you to be right, but if you could just try answering, just try making an attempt to answer at least. So we are in, I'm personally in this particular trade. Okay, so obviously, if there is a downside move, okay, if there is kind of actually a downside move of 10 points, then your loss is going to be 10 into 100, which is nothing else but 10 into 100, how much, guys? So how much is it going to be? Just try answering, 10,000. So why is there a lot of confusion in this, guys? So why do you guys actually have a lot of confusion in this part? It's pretty simple, right? The concepts, I guess it is so far whatever we have mentioned are more or less like pretty straightforward concepts. Okay, so if there is a 10 points downside move, so 10 into 100, if you're trading one lot, if you're trading 10 lots, it is going to be 10,000 rupee loss. Now, I personally have entered a buy position on crude oil right now. So I'll tell you the logics. I personally have gone for a buy over here. So right now I'm in the trade. Yeah, I'll show you. I have actually gone for a buy over here at the high of this particular candle, and my planned out stop loss is over here. So if at any particular point of time, if the price manages to come below this particular level, I'll book the loss and I'll come out. So that is the setup. So let's wait. Let's finish the basics, then we'll come into the setup. Okay. Now, I just wanted to ask you one more question. May fall, yeah, if it falls, let it fall. So then the trade actually goes against our setup and we end up in loss. So that's a part of the game. Nothing can be done. Okay. Now, any idea? So friends who are already trading the futures contracts, any idea how much money you need to trade crude oil? How much money you kind of actually need to trade crude oil? Any idea? 2 lakhs, 1.7 lakhs? Any other numbers? Just try making an answer. $1.5. Okay. So in fact, as far as the crude oil margin requirements present point of time is concerned, your margin requirement is actually, yes, you're right. It is around 1.5 lakhs till 6 o'clock. But after 6 o'clock, the margin requirement that you'll actually have to pay, or the margin amount or the margin money that you'll have to put aside for Motilal as well, you get it for 10,000 to 15,000 rupee. Okay, 10,000 to 15,000 rupee would be the margin requirement you'll have to pay after 6 o'clock. Now, right now we are looking into the crude oil November futures chart. Okay, so in India, one aspect I just wanted to mention, or one disadvantage we have is, as far as Indian markets are concerned, our markets are open only till late night 11. So after 11 o'clock, after 11:30, do you think crude oil is going to be stopped from trading, or do you think crude oil trading will still happen? So after 11:30. So what do you think? So after 11:30, what happens to crude oil? So what happens to crude oil after 11:30? So what do you think, guys? So after 11:30, what happens to crude oil? Will it trade or will it actually stop trading? Yeah, after margin. Okay. So some are saying stop trading, some are saying it will still trade. So why do you think it will stop trading? So do you think when it is 11:30 over here in India? So what is the time in US? Can someone tell me, please? So when it is actually 11:30 in India, when is that? What is the time in US? So what is the time that we'll have in US if it is 11:30 in India? Come on, tell me. Just try making an attempt to answer. Yeah. So something about the commodities market, something very interesting about the commodities markets is the fact that since this is an international commodity, okay, since this is actually an international commodity, it is going to be live throughout. So even when you're sleeping, even when we are having our markets closed over here, even when the Indian markets are closed, the commodities markets around the world are being traded. So it is more or less, I would say, like when I was actually kind of at futures first, my working hours was 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. Okay. And we were trading in the ICE exchange. Okay. ICE exchange was where the trading activity was taking place. So something I just wanted to say is that particular exchange is closes for around 2 hours. Okay. Yeah, JP Reddy is right. It basically closes only for around 2 hours. Now, even when ICE exchange is closed, crude oil is basically being traded in some other parts. Okay, crude oil is kind of actually being traded in other parts of the world. Still, it is being traded in other parts of the world. So, what I just wanted to convey to you is the fact that even when Indian markets are closed, it is still being traded around the world. So, can I look at the price action of crude oil only in Indian markets? Yes or no? So can I look into the price action of crude oil only in the Indian markets, or should I be looking at it everywhere? So tell me, guys, can I just look into the price action of crude only in Indian markets, or should I be looking at other places also? So what do you think? So more or less, I could kind of actually say, so just looking into the price action of crude in the Indian markets alone is not going to make any sense. You should be looking into the price action of crude around, right? So now can I, okay, fine. I'll just zoom out and show. So friends, I'll just quickly show you something. Let's switch into the 15-minute chart of crude oil. So this is a significant resistance level. This was actually holding as a support, not just in Indian charts, but I have a gap. I see a gap up opening over here. Quick question to you. Is this actually a gap up opening? Okay, yeah, this is okay, fine. So is this actually a gap up opening, this one? Oops, just a second. So is this actually a gap up opening, or is it just the fact that our markets were closed then? What do you think? Is it actually a gap up opening, or is it just a fact that our markets were closed during that point of time? So what do you think? Is it just a gap up opening, or our markets were closed at that particular point of time? Our markets were closed. Okay. So now you understand why, rather than looking into Indian markets, why we need to look into the international markets for identifying the charts. Do you understand that? So do you kind of actually understand the reason why I said rather than just looking into the Indian markets, why we should be looking into the international market charts, right? Because if you look only into the Indian markets, the problem that is going to happen is the fact that you will see the price action that is taking place only in the Indian markets. Okay. Whereas if you look into the price action in the international, so right now, I just wanted to tell you. So I'm looking into the charts. Now you must be having this question: how is this guy taking a trade by looking into? See, I'm actually looking into the charts. So we have an algo for this. So some rules that we are following. Okay. So it is basically I'm actually tracking the international markets also alongside with looking into the Indian market. So I just simply wanted to say, or simply wanted to convey to you, it is not just the Indian market charts that we need to look into, but also the international market charts. Obviously, we need to look into the Indian market charts. Why? Because you need to know at what price you need to punch the order. You definitely need to know for yourself at what price you should actually be punching the order. Else, how will you take the trade? Where can we track the? I'm coming into that one by one. Every question I'll answer. So today, even if I had to stay till today late night 1 a.m., I'll answer all the questions only, then I'll leave. But let me just go in the same sequence. Okay, I'll discuss the setup also. I took the trade before explaining the system, because if I wait to explain everything, then a trade will be missed. Okay, so we have to track Indian markets and international markets both. How to track the international markets? That is the next question, right? Let's go to that. How many of you already use TradingView? Please let me know how many of you already use TradingView. How many of you use investing.com? Which one I should be showing? I need to decide that. That's why I'm asking you this question. I really don't have time to explain both. Only one I'll show. TradingView. Anyone investing.com? So depending on majority will do. Okay, TradingView. So let's go ahead with TradingView then. Okay. So I'll first of all take the chart of TradingView. I told you, friends, in India, which crude oil do we import? Let's see how many of you are following. Which crude oil do we import in India? Brent or WTI? We import WTI. Okay, we import WTI, correct. But which crude oil do we trade? In our exchange, which is the crude oil that is being traded? Yeah, we import this thing, correct. We import Brent oil, but what do we trade? Indian markets. So even though WTI is the one that is, even though Brent oil is the one that is imported, the one that is actually traded is US oil. Okay. Due to the very same reason, if you are actually a TradingView user, you search for US oil. Okay, you kind of actually search for US oil, and you'll be getting the charts. So if you are searching from India, obviously first thing that you're going to see is MCX chart. But what I just wanted to say, don't look into MCX chart, but you look into the US oil, actual US oil chart itself. You don't look into MCX chart. Rather, you look into the actual MCX, rather you look into the actual US oil chart itself. You can actually search for CL. Okay, so you can actually look into this CL1. There is a current month contract that can be looked into. See, we have heavy rains happening in Kerala. Right now also it is raining. And because of that reason, my network is a bit messed up. Okay, so please cooperate with me. So I'll switch to the 1 day time frame. I'll actually switch to the 1 day time frame of crude. So how is crude looking like? So how is crude oil looking like? How is the price action in crude oil looking like right now? Is it looking bullish? Okay. So always if you're looking into the chart of crude oil, my friend, I just wanted to say, start off on the larger time frame. So please don't do this sin of looking from the shorter time frame. This is the number one sin that beginners make in the market. I have made it. You have made it. All of us have made it. Don't do that again. Don't start from the lower time frame to take more number of trades. Don't do that. Start from the larger time frame itself. So here, when we are looking into the daily time frame, yeah, crude oil is actually looking bullish. The price action is also looking bullish. Apart from the fact that last candle or the last time we actually had a bearish candle getting formed, we kind of actually had a bearish candle getting formed in the last day. Apart from that particular part, we kind of actually have a bullish price action itself in crude that is understood for everyone, right? So why I'm asking you to look into the US oil charts, because these charts that you would find on TradingView would actually be having a continuous price action. So these charts would be kind of actually open for 22 hours. Okay, Indian market morning 9 a.m. it opens, then late night 11:30 it closes. Whereas this one 22 hours charts there, so it'll be throughout. Okay, it'll be throughout. So you get the continuous price action. So to study price action, this will be the best thing that we can do. So this is going to be the best thing that we can actually do in order to study price action. Now, the next thing I just wanted to convey. So after looking into the 1-day charts, next thing that we do, okay, I forgot to mention something. Guys, like over here, the pricing that you're seeing is in US dollar. The pricing that you're seeing is in US dollar. So it is 82.18. So what is the pricing in Indian markets? How do you convert it into Indian market pricing? Any idea? Any guess? Just try making a guess. How do you convert it into Indian market? So if we need to convert it into Indian markets, we need to know the USD INR rates, and the conversion would basically happen. But I just wanted to tell you, you guys need not look into that, because that exchange will do. You need not worry about it. So plus some disparity is going to be there. Okay, because US dollar, USD INR values will keep on changing. USD INR value is kind of actually going to keep on changing. However, like MCX won't keep on changing that way. So there are some standards that is followed. So don't worry about that part, because the exchange will take care. Okay, but price action will be the same. Let's have, this is the daily chart in US oil. Now let me just kind of actually show you. Just hold on. So this was the price of New York Mercantile Exchange, but I like looking into the Pakka US oil. Just hold on, guys. So I'll just show you the like patterns in both. Okay, I'll kind of actually just quickly show you the patterns in both. So let's have a look into the patterns of the daily time frame in the Indian markets as well as the international markets. So this is the pattern that I see in the Indian markets chart. Okay, now I'll show you the pattern that we see in the international market chart, the US oil. Now this is the pattern that we are seeing in the US oil chart. Okay, so do you see that thing over here? So both are more or less the same itself, right? So the pattern that we are seeing in the US oil, okay, sorry, daily time frame, right? Yeah, just zoom it out a bit. This is the pattern that we are kind of actually witnessing over here. And over there, the pattern that we are seeing and the pattern that we are seeing over here is more or less the same itself. So no need to worry. So first and foremost, as I mentioned, you look into the daily time frame, you figure out for yourself. US oil seems easy. See, my friend, making money is not easy. Making money is tough only. So right now, from our entry, we are up like 25 points. Okay. I'll show you how to take a trade on Motilal Oswal. We are kind of actually up by 25 points from our entry. Okay, that means like we have almost mitigated our risk. Our average entry price was 6198. I'll tell you all these logics again. I'll clear your queries. So this is like a 1 hour already. Means our risk part is done. So we won't go in loss in this trade. Why don't we go in loss in this particular trade? Because whatever we are kind of actually risking, we have actually kind of what do you say, come out of it. Whatever risk we have taken, we have actually mitigated the risk. So that is the good part in this particular trade right now. Okay. So yes, just a second. See, I usually don't trade on a laptop. I trade on my terminal, but today since we had to do this live, that is why I'm doing it here. So I usually don't trade on this. Like we usually trade on the terminal. We trade through the Motilal Oswal terminal itself. But today we have a lot of our Motilal Oswal franchisee clients attending this to see how this can be done, etc., etc. That is why we are kind of actually demonstrating it over here. So something like if I just miss it out right now, it is going to be difficult to explain later. So I'll just quickly show you, get back into the 5-minute charts. Okay, so this was the initial risk that we had taken in the trade. Okay, so already we have actually got some more. So don't you think it would be kind of foolishness to lose the money now? So already price has actually moved in favor of our direction like 27 points. Don't you think it would be foolishness to lose money now? What do you think? So if I lose money now, you should slap me, right? So what should I do? So how many of you know trailing stop loss concept and all? Risk is mitigated. So whatever we are putting at stake, we have come out of it. So what could be done? So I'm kind of actually still continuing a bullish stance on crude. So else I could have actually kind of considered maybe cutting some trading stop loss. How to understand, sir? We're coming into it one by one, man. This is just, we have started, maybe we are interacting with each other maybe for maximum 1 hour now. So obviously I'll take my time. That's what I told. Even if I had to wait till tonight 1 a.m., I'll clear all the doubts. Okay. So now the idea that I have decided, or the thing that I have decided upon, is I'll trail the stop loss. That is, initially, if this was my stop loss, now what I have actually done is I have actually brought my stop loss like 1 point above entry. So for you guys who are going to trade using our franchisee, your break even is going to be like a 2.5 points. But for me, it is just 1 point because franchisee is also mine. Okay, so for me, the break even is like 1.5 points, but for you, it is going to be 2.2 points. Okay, so that is why I had trailed it to like 1 point above. So now I don't have a risk in this trade. Now, maybe now the price could kind of come down, hit our stop loss. That's a different thing. But as far as we are concerned, stick with the setup. Don't change our mind in between. Okay. Now, the next, okay, I was continuing. Now I'll continue with the setup. So daily time frame, we looked. Daily time frame, the price action is actually looking really bullish. So what is the next thing I should be doing? What should be the next thing that I should be doing now? After daily time frame, which should be the time frame I should be looking into? I told you top-down analysis. Start from the larger time frame, get down into the shorter time frame. What should be the next time frame I could look into? So definitely, it is going to be a good idea for me to look into the shorter time frame. And if you are someone who is trading the intraday, I would say there are friends who look into the 4-hour time frame. I totally appreciate you guys, but from my personal experience, so what suits my trading style. See, CL1 and US oil is same only. You can look into both. Same only. Charts are the same only. US oil, you can look into. US oil. Okay. CL1, the continuous, the first month contract. So next we can actually kind of actually think about getting into the hourly time frame. I do hourly. Some of you could do this thing. Some of you could kind of actually do maybe the 4-hour time frame. Guys, now crude has actually given like a 34-point move from our entry. So I could maybe consider trading my stop loss maybe another 4 points up. That is the way I trail. Okay, so now I can actually trail another 4 points up. So today I have taken a trade in like 10 lots. So I'm not so comfortable in taking, to be pretty frank, I'm not really so comfortable in trading in front of others. Okay, I'm not at all comfortable in trading in front of others. Just a second, let me just trail it better. And this is actually very difficult to be frank with you guys. Like, see, Motilal terminal is really bad. Okay, Like placing trades on Motilal is a big headache. It's a big task. It's not at all user friendly, to be frank. But then it's just for the fact that for the margin benefits that majority of our clients actually use a Motilal terminal. Else, I personally won't recommend Motilal to anyone. Using it is a bit tough, but you get margin benefit. So start off from the daily time frame, get into the hourly time frame. How is the price action looking into the hourly time frame? Now you have the answer for the trade. How is the price action looking in the hourly time frame? Come on, guys, just respond. So how do you think is the price action looking in the hourly time frame? Is looking bullish. Okay. So in the consolidating, good answer. Yeah, it is looking consolidating. It was looking consolidating, but now how is it looking? So from the bottom, how is it looking now? What you're saying is for the entire day, in entire 2 days, last 2 days, if I ask you, your answer is right. But from this particular rejection, how is it looking? How is it looking, guys? So from that particular level, it is actually looking bullish, right? I'll just draw and show you. I know some of you are completely new to the markets, but friends, I just wanted to tell you, there is this concept called a support and resistance. Okay. So if you want, you can write this down. Support is nothing else but a price point from where the stock price actually bounces up. Or support is nothing else but a price level from where the stock price manages to pick up. On the other hand side, resistance is nothing else but a price level from where the stock price actually falls down. So once again, support is nothing else but a price level from where the stock price picks up, and resistance is nothing else but a price level from where the stock price actually falls down. So today at the beginning of the day in the sense before this meeting itself, we actually identify that this is a range within which this crude oil has been playing. Okay, so this is actually a range, or this is actually a identifiable range within which crude oil prices has been playing around. Price has been touching that ceiling, it is falling down. Price is touching this floor, it is picking up. More or less from the last 2 days, this pattern is basically repeating. Now, I hope that part is clear. So I see that in the daily time frame, crude oil is actually looking bullish. The daily time frame, crude oil is kind of actually looking bullish. Not kind of, it is extremely bullish. And if I look into the hourly time frame right now, crude oil is actually kind of more or less looking consolidating. But just tell me all the last 3 hours what has happened to the price of crude. Can someone tell me? Someone, can you please tell me what has happened to the price of crude over the last 3 hours? Over the last 3 hours, what do you think has happened to the price of crude oil? So the last 3 hours, what has actually happened to the price of crude oil is, it has actually touched the support, the floor that we have been mentioning. From the floor, it has managed to bounce up. Okay, so it's facing some halt over here. We see some sort of a rejection coming in. So maybe our trail stop loss is going to get hit, and we are going to come out of the trade with a nominal profit of around 6 points. After being up around 27 points, we are going to come out maybe with a nominal profit of 6 points. But as far as I'm personally concerned, I kind of actually need to capture something like a 40 points because I had taken a risk of around 20 points. I need to capture something like a 1:2. So I stick with the system. So I just want to make sure that I'm catching like a 2R. Okay. So maybe if the profit is kind of coming below 15 points, I might kind of consider changing my mind if I see a rejection. However, I feel if this highs can be taken out, maybe there could be another like a 50-60 point move that could potentially come. So I just stick with it because cutting. So right now, if I cut, that is just going to be equivalent to the risk that I took. That really doesn't make sense. Okay, it's going to be a 1:1. So settling for a 1:1. I'm not really so happy with it. So let's see how it goes. So we feel, okay, we personally saw it was actually finding a rejection from here. From here, it was actually picking up. Now, I kind of have mentioned to you that we can actually consider crude oil as an angel commodity. Okay. So we kind of consider crude oil as an angel commodity. And on the other hand side, we kind of actually consider gold as a devil commodity. So what do you think? What do you kind of actually think is going to happen to if an angel commodity is picking up? So what do you actually expect the index like US 30? What you know, all of you know US 30, I suppose. So what do you actually expect to be happening with US 30 if an angel commodity is rising? Or for an angel commodity to rise further, what do you actually expect for US 30 to happen? Should US 30 be falling or should US 30 be picking up? Just think about it, guys. Just let me know. So yeah, we would kind of actually require, so we would kind of actually just require US 30 to rise for crude oil to actually pick up better, right? Why? Because as I mentioned to you, if it is an angel commodity, when there is prosperity around the world, there is going to be more development, the stock markets will be doing good. Okay, so everything doing good, and alongside with that, crude oil is also going to rise. So what is US 30? US 30, just Google it. Okay, just like we have Nifty 50, we have US 30 for the US. Okay, so just like we kind of actually have, okay, just like we kind of actually have the Nifty 50, same way we have US 30 for US. Okay, I'm not getting much into that. So next thing that you can actually add on this screen is, okay, you get into 50 minutes time frame also. You see the price action. Once again, it is bullish in the 50 minutes time frame. It's looking bullish, right? All of you guys agree with me that price action is looking bullish. So guys, like we are almost done with the 1:2. So we're kind of actually almost getting done with the 1:2 soon. Okay. So we are kind of like up 34 points. Okay, we're kind of actually up 34 points, like 40 points, and we are kind of actually pretty much good. So like I have actually taken like half the size. I usually trade around like 30 to 40 lots. So today I had taken just like 10 lots, trading from my laptop today. Okay, and plus this live, definitely it is going to be like, to be pretty frank, I'm not really so comfortable in doing this right now also. Okay, so now what I just wanted to mention, also look into the price action in the 15 minutes time frame. Price action in the 15 minutes time frame, what is it telling you? What is the story the price action in 15 minutes time frame is telling you? Is it bullish or bearish? Come on guys, please respond. Is actually bullish. The price action in the 15 minutes time frame is also conveying to you that this is actually bullish. Okay, so now we'll add US 30 over here. Why I'm doing that is because then I'll come into the other parts. So if you are a trading view user, you click on this compare thing, okay, and you click on US 30. Click on new pane. Why? Because else it is going to be actually very distracting to you to have too many things on the charts. Click on new pane. That'll be better, I would say. So let me just actually trail another 5 points. Okay, so here we have the chart of US 30. Something I would just recommend you guys to do also is when you're looking into the chart of US 30, better you look into the candles itself. Okay, so rather than this line chart, you look into the candles itself. Change from line, change it to, from candles, you change it to, from line, you change it to candles. So may I ask you this question? So what was the price action we were seeing in, okay, what was the price action we were seeing in crude oil? So crude oil in the larger time frame is looking bullish one day. In the hourly time frame, it was actually looking sideways. Now in the 15 minutes time frame from here, once again, it is looking bullish because this is nothing else but the 1 hour rejection that we saw here. Okay, what about the US 30? What about the price action in US 30? What is it conveying to you? So what is it conveying to you guys? So is there anyone who feels it is bearish? Okay. So over here too, we actually witness out for ourselves. Okay, we kind of actually just witness out for ourselves. Over here too, the price action is more or less still continuing to be looking bullish as far as crude oil is concerned. Okay, so as far as crude oil is kind of concerned, it is still looking out to be bullish itself. Now we see some sort of a rejection coming in, and this time, yeah, we can actually have a stop getting taken out. Just a second. Let's see what is happening. Just hold on, guys. It's very tough to actually modify from Montilal side. So yeah, we're kind of going just close to our stop. Just like a 10 points away from our stop. Else some sort of a good bullishness should come soon. Else we'll just be out with like a 14 points. That would okay. Right now we have actually trailed our stop loss. So we basically kind of actually follow a trailing mechanism based on upside move. So every 10-point upside move, we trail our stop loss by half of that. That is 5 points. Right now, our stop loss is kept at 6204. I'll just show it on the chart. That'll be better. Okay. Stop loss is actually kept over here. So when our entry was somewhere over here, so this is our stop now. So anyways, we'll be having a profit in this trade. So, but I guess at least this much space should be given. This much breathing space should be given, because post this break, like if there is a consolidation over here again, maybe some sort of a good upside move could come in further. So if I tighten this and exit now, if maybe let's say 100-point upside is to come, I would just miss out on that. I really don't want that to happen. Okay. So if a big upside move is to actually kind of come, I would kind of actually end up missing out on that if I just exit out now. Okay, so we really don't want that to happen. That is why we're not coming out. We'll just hold on. We'll stick on to our rules and stick on to the system. So anyways, we don't have a laws right now. Okay, so and these kind of trades, like in my personal thing, so these kind of trades are the ones that does the best. So once you have trade has become risk free, then you can do anything. I'll take all the questions, but see, I'm taking a trade. I'm focusing on explaining you guys also. Just please cooperate with me. So Pranjal is asking this question, little bullish. Yeah, your answers are right, guys. Market is looking bullish. So price action on US 30, what is it conveying to you? It is actually looking not extremely bullish, but this price action is also matching. So I usually check out for setups where the price action of both US 30 and US oil are in sync with each other. That is situations where both the price actions are kind of more or less coinciding with each other. If you are to check out for long side opportunity, okay, if you are to check out for long side opportunity and you are actually witnessing that crude oil is also looking bullish, US 30 is also looking bullish, those would be the best situations, I would say. You check out for the setup. Okay, so till now, is everything clear? Would you guys actually like to have a chance to unmute yourself and speak? Because I see some questions are basically being missed out. Would you like that? But just make sure you ask questions one by one. Okay, because if everybody unmutes at the same time, it would create a lot of echo. Just unmute yourself one by one. I'll just give you a chance for that. So now we probably is just a wait and game for us. Okay, it's kind of actually a wait and game for us. So we have our positions. So like once we have something captured, like something like a 40 points, 40 points. So 40 points means how many points move? 40 points means 40 rupees move. Once we have captured something like a 40 points move, like we are kind of more or less done with the 1:2. Okay. But I expect that if the high can be broken, a big up move could come in. That is why we are holding on. Okay, else we can actually even settle for a 30 points. Yeah. So you can unmute yourself and ask questions. I'll just give you that chance. Then we'll move forward. I guess you probably might be having a confusion. Guys, to be pretty honest, I really don't know your knowledge level. Right now, I personally don't know what kind of knowledge level is. Yeah, please ask. Please ask questions one by one person at a time.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Ganesh.
Hi, sir. How are you? How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. What about you?
Sir, I'm fine.
Tell me.
No, I'm following you from.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, tell
I'm
me, Ganesh.
following
I
you
can hear you.
from last year, sir. I am
Last
also
year.
one of your committee member,
Okay, I know that. I know that.
but I didn't actually I didn't follow for the crude
Yeah.
oil and all.
Okay, fine. No problem. Like we are going to have like so I was basically like away for almost like 1 month.
I'm,
Now like we'll be having it for continue. Like we'll have it. We'll have at least 2 trades a week. Same way.
I I missed out the classes of the crude oil due to my
Okay.
work lots.
Okay, no problem. We'll do something about it. That's fine. Is there any queries that you have about this? Like, see, if you're a working employee, one advantage that you will have in the crude oil market is that you probably would be busy during the morning market hours, right?
Yes, sir.
You
Yes.
probably would be busy during the morning market hours. But crude oil, the advantage is now it is night 9:30. You can trade. Then one beauty about crude oil is usually unidirectional. Once it takes a direction, it tends to stay in the same direction for a larger duration of time.
Yes.
Got it? So
Yeah.
it tends to stay in the same direction for a larger duration of time. So if you are in the right direction of the trend, so I see many people kind of actually asking me to exit. So what I just wanted to say is that, okay, fine. I had taken a risk of 10 rupee. I'm making 10 rupee. If I exit, I'm doing nothing else but gambling. I'm making 10 rupee. I'm risking 10 rupee. I'm making 10 rupee. I exit. I'm doing nothing else but gambling. When I'm risking 10 rupee, I should be looking forward to make something like a 20 rupee or 30 rupee. That is when it makes sense, right? So see, if I perform 10 trades, guys, just 4 or 5 trades would win. Rest 6 or 5 trades will lose. Okay, if I'm taking 10 trades, around 6 trades will lose. Only 4 or 5 trades will be winning. The rest 6 or 5 trades are going to be losing itself. Now, what basically matters or what basically brings in the results is that when you should be having winning trades, you should be in the right direction of the trend and you should be able to hold it for a larger duration of time. That is, you should be able to hold it. Maybe you're risking 20 points. You should be looking out to capture maybe a 40, 60, or 80 points. So those are the trades that is going to bring in the difference. So one good thing about crude is usually if you're in the right direction of the trend, the price tends to travel in the direction for a larger duration. So maybe it is going to take you 6 hours or 7 hours or 8 hours. You can continue the trade, nothing wrong. Maybe you're going to enter. Okay, one important part over here when crude oil trading is concerned, majority of the good moves happen only after 5 o'clock. That is when you are free from your office, right? So working employees, as far as working employees are concerned, majority of you would be actually busy during the office hours.
Yes.
But that is pretty fine because you can actually check out for opportunities in the evening. Suppose your office is kind of getting closed, then you can actually check out for opportunities. Okay. And right now, to be one advantage about crude oil trading is crude oil is trending also. These days, crude oil has been kind of actually pretty much trending. So that is also something that you can actually take your advantage. So these are the things. So right now, we see some sort of a rejection coming in. So now we most probably are kind of actually going to hit our trade stop loss. Okay, but there is still a possibility that it can find a support over here and it can move up. So if that happens, that is when we get the jackpot. Else we'll just come out maybe with a near 15 points something. Okay. So is it clear, Ganesh? Like,
Yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir.
think,
Definitely.
yeah.
It
Thank you.
will.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sir, one more thing.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, we need proper guidance on the crude oil. Please continue these classes at least for 3 days, so
Yeah,
that we will be follow you.
I'll definitely do. So the thing is, one more thing is that, see, there are not always, you can't actually get opportunities like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we got an opportunity. So that doesn't mean every time we need to get an opportunity. Maybe like if I usually get like around 2 to 3 opportunities in a week, as far as crude is concerned, not more than that. Okay, so we really don't know when the opportunity comes also, right? So today, all of us are lucky that we are getting the opportunity together, but that is not so common. So some days, there could be days like this when we just sit and we don't get a trade and you guys would be like, oh, this guy wasted my time. But every time we can't get, that is also there. Okay. So yeah, so yes. So any other questions? Anyone else?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Hello, sir. My name is Sabarish.
Yeah, hi, Sabarish.
Sir, I also attended your free crude classes before.
Cool.
There you have mentioned that Google alerts. That's confusing. Like many alerts are coming at a time. Those news related.
Google alerts. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in fact, I just wanted to say, see, news is something that you can actually use to stick on to your conviction. That's it. So news is not going to give you any results. That is like if you kind of actually listen to news, your results are not going to improve. So only thing that is going to help you is your system, your risk management. Those are the only things that is going to help you. Everything else, okay, maybe if there is some news that is actually favoring your decision, you're going to go for a long side opportunity. And along with that, news is also kind of actually conveying to you something bullish. Then probably, yeah, you can be more confident with your trade. Okay, you're going to go for a long side position. Now you're more confident because the news is also in favor of your direction. News is also good. You are looking out for a bullish setup. News is also good. You can be extra confident. That's it. So it can be used as a confluence. Now for friends who don't know what confluence is, confluence means you look into a wide variety of aspects before taking up a trade. Okay, you look into a wide variety of aspects before taking a trade. So right now, the confluences that we are basically looking into, one confluence that we looked into was the daily time frame. Then we came into the hourly time frame. Then we came into the 15 minutes time frame. Then we took a trade. We looked out for a level breakout. We looked out for a good resistance level breakout. We looked out for a rejection in the hourly time frame. That was one aspect. Then we looked out for US30 as a confluence. And we felt that, okay, the risk reward ratios can be easily achieved. Then, okay, I forgot to mention something. Let me just show that. Okay, let me just show you the 15 minutes time frame. Okay, I'll show you in Indian markets. That will be better. So friends, let me ask you this question. So if I'm to take a trade from here, okay, can you see the Saroda chart now? Guys, Saroda chart is visible, I suppose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's kind of actually say that I'm to take a trade from this particular level. That is 6-1. Just hold on. So let's say that I'm to take a trade from here, 6192. So people who understand support and resistance levels, tell me easily till where can I expect the price to move? Next level, next significant level. So could you tell me like which could be the next potential?
6220.
6220. So okay, I'll just see, my network is bad. That is 6230, more or less till 6230. From 6192 to 6230, I can expect a move. So how much is 6230? How many points from 6192? Around 40 points. Okay. So the T1 or the first move or the first potential move that we could kind of actually be expecting to take place is more or less like a 40-point upside. Okay. So if you're looking out for a 40-point upside, and our initial risk was around like a 25 points, right, over here. So I'm keeping my stop loss somewhere over here. Around a 20-25 points is the risk that I'm taking, looking out to make a 40 points. Does that sound good? I'm looking to make like a 40 points by risking a 25. But I know, okay, if the move is happening in favor of my direction, I'll keep on trailing. So do you think that is a good idea? Taking a risk of 25 rupee. Think this way, you're risking 25 rupee to make 40 rupee. But not only 40, maybe you can make 50 or even 100 rupee. Does that sound a good business?
Yes, sir.
So if you can make the best out of it, or you can juice it out, that is when you're going to get the advantage. So I wanted to say, today we took a trade, it is winning. Now we don't have a risk in this trade. So even if this trade turns against us, what is going to happen? Okay, even if this trade kind of actually turns against us, I'll actually end up with something like a 17, 18K. So obviously 18K is not a profit. It's not at all a profit. As far as the risk I took was like around a 20K. 25 points, that is 25K, but I somehow would have managed to kind of actually drop it down to around the risk of 20K. So, but if I'm capable of taking out, okay, in this case, trade has become risk-free. So at least I can actually capable of taking out what I have put at stake. But what if I can make maybe 3 times or 4 times what I have put at stake? That is when the difference comes in. Let's say I'm capable of making a 40K. I'm making double of what I have put at stake, or I'm making triple of what I have put at stake. That is what is going to make you a good trader. Okay. So even if you feel an urge to come out too early, don't do that. If you have a system, stick with it. So make sure that your risk reward ratios are satisfied. So in our case, just see if the price actually stayed sometime over here, right? So I probably would have actually cut half. So if I'm trading 5 lots, 10 lots, I probably must have actually booked maybe 5 lots over here. Okay, at this point. Now again, I know, okay, I have booked half over here. Now my trade is actually risk-free. So now also it is fine. Trade is anyways risk-free. I won't lose money over here. So then what is wrong in holding on to the trade if it is actually still looking in favor of your direction? Now if the trade goes against you, fine. You lose, you're not making full profit, but still you're in profit, right? So is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, what is that yellow line indicator which you used on that trading view?
Yellow line indicator, that was pivots, man. In fact, like to be pretty frank, I'm actually testing out I'm testing out an algo. Okay. So for that, like I just used it. So in fact, this trade really didn't have much to do with the pivot. Okay. Nothing to do with the pivot. This trade really didn't have anything to do with the pivot. Okay.
And sir, some people say that you should not trade crude on Thursday because I don't know, there is some.
Okay. I'll tell you. So today is not Thursday. Inventory day. Okay. Inventory day prices would actually be extremely volatile. But if you know how to trade, you can make good money. Because usually on inventory day, so there's something called as inventory data. Okay, I'll tell you something. I told you about opaque, right? I guess I have mentioned to you. See, I'll do something, guys. So after this meeting, I'll kind of actually share you some reference material that you can read through as well as watch through. So that some reference material related to crude oil trading that I myself have conducted, some theoretical part, like what drives the price of crude oil and all that. Maybe you'll find it extremely useful because most probably you won't find it pretty much everywhere. Okay, so I'll do that. But what I just wanted to say is there is something called as inventory data. I told you about OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Similarly, we have like energy institutes. So there are like 2 institutes. So one is what we refer to as the American Petroleum Institute. Okay, API. American Petroleum Institute. And we have the EIA. EIA data, energy. My God, I forgot the full form. Energy, something administration. What was it? Energy information
Energy Information Administration.
Yeah, Energy Information Administration. I forgot the full form. Yeah, so Energy Information Administration. So we have like both the APA and EIA, two institutes that basically releases the data related to the crude oil inventories. That is okay. How much is a crude oil inventory that is staying? Okay, how much production of crude oil has taken place? How much consumption, like how much supply was there? How much crude oil stock is pending, etc., etc. So based on this release data, so usually American Petroleum Institute data is said to be less reliable. Okay, their data is actually said to be less reliable. So let's kind of say that American Petroleum Institute, and I'll just give you see, I can't get too much into the details of this, but let me just give you an example. So let's say that American Petroleum Institute is saying, I'll tell in liters so that all of you can follow. Let's assume American Petroleum Institute is saying, okay, there is 10 liters of petrol that is actually in shelf. In shelf, nobody bought it. 10 liters petrol is in shelf. Stock is piled up. Okay. Whereas, let's say that, okay, stock is piled up, supply is more. So is it good for the crude oil pricing or bad for the crude oil pricing? Supply is more. Supply is more than demand.
Bad.
Yeah, it is bad for the crude oil pricing. So what do you expect to happen to the crude oil price?
Crude oil will fall.
It is supposed to be falling down. We can't say it will fall, but it is supposed to fall down.
Yes,
now, let me just give you an example. APA data is telling you, okay, 10 liter petrol is in shelf. Now, APA data is telling you, oh no, there is not even 10 liter. There is actually a demand for a 10 liter, and we are processing 10 liter of crude oil to supply to India. So what about now? If we kind of hear something like this, so is this good?
It will go up. It can go up.
Yeah, but in fact, like if we kind of actually just realize out for ourselves that there is extra demand or there is draw. We call this phenomenon as draw of crude. Okay, that means there is demand, but stock is not there. Petrol is not there. Okay, crude oil is not there, but demand is there. So it is going to be bullish for crude oil. Okay, it is okay. Yeah, you're right. Now, what if so this data I told you, it is not so reliable, whereas APA data is kind of coming, which is less reliable, and EA data. So APA data, let's say that there is 10 liter crude in shelf, less reliable data. 10 liter crude in shelf is bad for crude oil pricing. Now after that, EA data, which is more reliable or more accurate, is kind of coming and telling you there is they're telling you, no, not 10 liters. We have 20 liters of crude oil in shelf. See, Shabri, your point is right. He is asking like regarding the volatility part, I suppose. Okay. So APA data, EA data, APA data comes first, EA data comes later. So, Pranjal, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Pranjal. So let's say that initially the APA Petroleum Institute data came that 10 liter crude oil is in shelf. After that, EA data is telling 20 liter crude oil is in shelf. So after APA data, 10 liter crude oil in shelf means it is bad for crude oil. When the actual or more reliable data is coming, it is telling 20 liters in shelf. So is it going to be more bearish?
Yes, sir.
We thought only 10 liters is there in stock. Then we are realizing 20 liters is there in stock.
Yes, sir. Then it will be very
yeah, then we can actually expect it to be more bearish. Now, what if when the reliable data is coming, they're telling APA data guys, they told lies. No stock is there, 0 liters in stock. Then what will happen? Initially will go bearish, then go nothing.
Then it can go sideways or
it can go
up, down.
So maybe the price is actually kind of going to fall down when APA data came. EA data is coming, it is saying nothing is there in shelf. It can go bullish. It could. I can't say it can or it will. It could go. So all this data can actually be used as a confluence, yes or no? It can be used. It can be used alongside with whatever you're already using. But can you trade only on that?
No, sir. No, sir.
Can't. See, none of us can predict the markets, guys. So in fact, like I just wanted to say, like when we were kind of actually trading at futures first, there were like around 62 traders, and each person used to trade a different way. So if there was one golden rule, or there was kind of some holy grail that worked in the markets. Why do you need a lot of traders? Just one person would do the job, right?
Yes, sir.
So just realize for yourself, no news, no strategy, nothing is going to help you. Trading is all about managing your risk, nothing else. Nothing else can
Yes,
help you
sir.
in trading. Yes,
Yes,
Sayok.
sir.
Sayok,
Yes, sir. Yes.
good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to trail it. So again, an upside move has come in favor of our direction, and we are done with the 40 points. Okay. Yeah.
Hello,
Sayok,
sir.
I'm going to Kerala on December 11th for the meetup. We're planning some live trading and all over here. Try to come. Okay. Yeah. So somebody was asking a question. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
So what's the logic of marking the trend line on RSI?
On higher time frame. Can you repeat?
Okay.
Can you repeat it again?
Means, sir, you have drawn the trend line on the RSI. I didn't understand what's the logic behind it.
Okay. This is RSI divergence. In fact, okay, RSI divergence, like to be pretty frank, I didn't look into any RSI divergence over here. This was there in the chat. Hey, this screen basically, we were trying out some new stuff today. Okay, like we were kind of actually working on some algos. So just trying out some things. So RSI divergence. So when so price is picking up. So there could be situations when the price is staying flat, but RSI is continuing to rise. Okay, this is what we refer to as a bullish divergence. So RSI, you guys must be knowing that it is a measure of momentum. So what do you think will happen when price is staying the same, but momentum is keeping on increasing? You can expect the price
It will
to
go up.
Yeah. So that's what we refer to as a bullish divergence. So that's it. But in this case, I didn't look into any divergence. Okay. It was there on the chart. Okay. Like that's the standard template. Okay.
Okay.
So when
Sir, which is your
pricing and yeah, please ask.
Sir, which is your favorite time frame? 15 minutes or 5 minutes? Like if 5 minutes is saying.
Yeah, I look into the charts in the 5 minutes after taking the entry usually. But obviously, larger the time frame, the better it is. So if I tell you my favorite is 5 minutes or 15 minutes, like I would say, don't listen to anybody's favorite. You figure out for yourself what suits you. Okay, so I look into the daily, I get into the hourly, then into the 15. I look into the price action in the larger time frame, but I take trades on the short term. That's it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Oh my God, crude is finding a lot of trouble to pick up further. So now we have our stop loss at 6214. Okay. Right now, crude oil is trading at 6226. Too much of hiccups it is facing to pick up further. So let's see what happens. See, I wish this level breaks, and that is what we have been watching out for from the beginning, right? So our 40 point is kind of done right now, guys. Okay. So this is how it looks. Yeah. So for friends, like, okay, done. Good. So guys, like this is how a trade looks like right now. See, Motilal, if you have to trade in Motilal, I would say you trade on Motilal Oswald Terminal or Orion Light. Okay, don't trade in this. Our franchisee clients, anybody who is actually trading on this, MO investor, my friend, you please trade on this thing, what we refer to as, what do you call it? Orion Light. So you can call Balram, my teammate, and he'll set up the platform for you. Okay. So right now we are kind of actually done with 52 points. We're doing around 52 points. And it's high time for us to actually trail to okay, so I guess like we can actually trail to this like a 40 points now, right? What do you think? What do you think, guys? Can we trail to a 2R and can we hold on? Anyways, we'll get a 2R, right? Like whatever we have risk, we are getting what do you say? We're kind of actually just getting like double of what you are putting at stake or double of what we have put at stake. That's good, right? So is it a good trade now? So what would have happened if I came out at a 20K? Or now do you feel satisfied with the trade? So I know, see, each one of us make these mistakes. We come out too early, guys. So don't do that. Okay. So coming out too early, like that is a practice that each one of us has done. So if you say no, you never came out too early, then you're lying. Okay. So all of us would do that. We'll kind of come out too fast, but that really doesn't make any sense in the long run. Okay. In the long run, you would be just gambling. Would you keep overnight position? No, I don't do that. Okay. I don't take any overnight positions. Good volume, but see if it's just hit the stop loss or seller the sol. I did that. Okay. Yeah. So other questions. So we had 2 questions coming up. So you can actually ask more questions.
Sir, do you put stop loss on the previous candle's low?
So it depends on the price, guys. So the stop loss actually completely depends depending on the price. So in this case, like we have found that crude oil has finally managed to break this level. That is why like we have right now trailed our stop to our 2 hour. That is like we have captured 40 points anyway. If the price is to drop below this, okay, let's come out. Else we are settling for a 2 hour, right?
And sir, as per your experience, how much trend, at least one trend lasts for around 30 minutes or 1 hour?
That nobody can say. How can we say that? That
Yes, sir.
case to case
Yes, sir.
will depend. Oh, like none of us can say that. Neither me nor you can say.
Sir, do you give tips also on subscription basis of this
No
crude?
man. No man. Like to be pretty frank, like if I give tips also, nobody can trade it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Do you think you're going to believe me? Like if I ask you to buy this over here, I'm asking you to. Do you think that you can copy somebody else exactly the same way? Do you think you can do that? Don't do. See,
No,
don't
sir.
depend on anybody's tips and stuff. Okay. If you don't know the setup, please stay away from market. You can't exactly copy anybody else, man. That is the truth. You can't exactly copy. Now, even if I show, if I'm trading alongside with you guys, but let me tell you to be pretty frank, nobody can actually replicate the trade exactly like this because each person is going to find comfort in different things. Okay, so none of us can actually exactly copy somebody else. Now, if you feel you can do, that would be like a very rare case. So
Sir, you are perfectly right. Because my entry was at 6213. You entered 10 points before.
Yeah. So none of that is what the markets are all about. Okay. So nobody can be the same. So you figure out what is good for you. See, I'm very bad in buying options. I'm really bad in buying options. Okay. So, but I have a lot of friends who are very good in buying options. Okay. So it doesn't suit me. So you figure out what suits you. That's what matters. So each person has something different, right? You get that?
Sir, I think there is a small flag breakout in that green and then small red candles. Then again 2 green came.
Okay. Yeah. You are right. So now it's kind of time for us to trail a bit more further. So right now the price is 6241 and from 6224 we'll be having our stop to 6230 right now. Okay. So we kind of actually just got a chance to trail. So 6230. So right now crude oil is trading at 6241. So there is a very high likelihood crude is going to hit our stop. That is there. But let's see. Anyways, we are done with more than a 2 hour, no? Right? Okay, so next question, please. Next question. Let's have the questions. So once again, just don't expect, now some of you who are completely new to the market, you please don't think every day I'm making profit. But I kind of actually make sure that when I'm losing more, less than, or I'm just losing half of what I'm risking. Okay, so today we traded, like I personally put 10 lots into the trade. Usually I kind of actually trade around 30 to 40 that I trade on the terminal. So I'm pretty uncomfortable in trading in front of Zoom or trading in front of others. That is also there. So just figure out what works out the best for you. You hold on to the winning trades as much as possible. Okay. You please, when you're getting started with trading, I would say you start trading crude oil. If you're trading crude oil, don't trade with one lot also. Okay, you trade paper trade. You virtually trade You figure out the moment, you understand the moment, then you think about starting to trade in a real cash. Till then, don't put your real money. When you're getting started, you trade one lot. Then you kind of actually think about maybe adding 2 lots. Then you think about 4 lots. So you keep a goal like this. Every 300 points you catch, every 300 points you catch, you trade one more extra lot. For every 200 points you catch, you trade one lot. So let's say that you're catching a 200 point. If you're trading one lot, now you add one more lot. So the next 200 points you catch, you add one more lot. That way you do. Okay, or 200 or 300 points, I would say. Okay, and please don't think about scaling from one lot, at least for the first 3 months. So for the first 3 months, you just make sure you're trading the same size. First 3 months, don't scale. Stick with the same size. Then after that, every 200 points to 300 points you capture, you think about adding one more lot. So you do that, then you can actually stick with a consistent manner. You can actually do good. Okay. How do we get the reference materials? Even I'm confused with that. Okay, I'll do something. Can I create a WhatsApp group for you? I'll share it on the WhatsApp group. Okay, I'll just create a WhatsApp group now. Okay, and I'll just share the link now. You join that if you want the other things. Okay. Tomorrow I'll share it. Today, no. Today I'll just have to leave now. So tomorrow I'll just share it, guys. And then you can. So finally, crude
in night.
Yeah.
On which hour we should not trade? Like after 10 p.m. we should not trade, or like in morning or night, which hour we should avoid?
Okay, good question. So in fact, like I don't trade crude oil till 5 usually. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Why? Because it is more or less like a dead market till 5.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Till like that particular point of time, it is more or less like a dead market. So only after that movement starts. So I'll just share some videos for you guys to read, share some books for you guys to read, some content that I myself have created. And in fact, like I had been writing a blog related to crude oil trading. So I'll just share the links for that. Okay. You can read through that. Will actually help you. Okay. My analysis is good, but while punching orders, I fear or uncomfortable feeling comes. What to do? Only practice will help you. No course or nothing is going to help you. You practice. If your analysis is good, that means your trading should also be good. Either your risk management or something is actually playing against you. You figure out what is going against you. You work on that. So none of us can be perfect, right? So only practice is going to help you. I'll give you the reference materials, guys. So today's trade was kind of purely based on the price, purely based on the price action. And I showed it to you. Where will I get the WhatsApp link? So I have shared a WhatsApp link, I guess. I'll share it again. Can we get OI data for crude? No, you can get, but then like the problem is that Indian market OI data, you can depend on it. Okay, liquidity is pretty less. I see, to be pretty frank, Indian market liquidity is actually not so good. Okay, so Indian market liquidity is actually not so good. Options, especially commodity options, is very bad. It is still developing. And how many of you have traded crude earlier? How many of you over here? To be pretty frank, like crude is something novice. Like people are just getting into this. Most people really don't trade this. I see, if I know 100 people who are trading the markets, I know that almost everyone is actually trading. Either they're trading crypto, they're trading stock markets, they're trading forex market, but crude commodity nobody trades. But in fact, like see, price action works the best in forex. Price action works the best in forex. After that, after forex, price action works the best in commodities. Then I find it to be working the best in index, then in stocks. Okay, so but still people they really don't trade crude. I don't know why. Okay, price action works the best in forex. After that comes crude. So I personally don't trade forex, but our company trades in forex. I have a company called Livelong FX, Livelong Forex. So our company, I have two partners also in that. Like we trade in forex. Our company trades in forex. I don't trade because I personally focus only on crude and index majorly. I look into stocks also, but a positional major. Do you trade in crypto? In fact, like we have our company working around crypto. No, I'm not trading in crypto. I'm studying it, but definitely like trading in the sense not large scale, but studying it. Okay, I'm studying crypto, trying many platforms. Like we are looking out for some collaboration with some platforms also for crypto, like real estate organization, not for the trading part, but for the business part. Like real estate organization, things like that. Is there anyone from the crypto space who is really good at blockchain? So we have a project that we are working on in the crypto space. What works the best? Price action works in stocks also. What I said is like the reliability that we see. So now guys, like we really don't have to do anything. We just have to stick on to our position. I'll just take your questions. Can I get recording of this webinar? Yeah, I'll do. Now it could be a bit boring hereafter. Why? Because I'm not going to do anything in my position. So now, okay, I'll just quickly show you. See, if you're using a Motilal Oswal investor platform, if you want to modify the order, what you should kind of actually be doing is click on orders. You click on this actions. So it is only limit orders that can be used, you know, right? Stop loss. Keep the trigger price. 6231 is the price that is kept. Currently the price is 6242. Okay. So you can see this over here also. Then what? Yeah, if you want to modify this. So let's say that I want to modify this to 6231. Let's say. So just click on this, change this to 6231 and just click on modify. Be done. Okay. So I'll take the questions now. Any other questions? Is there any other question you? Okay. Some of our friends had asked to speak in Hindi. Guys, like I understand Hindi. I can actually speak a little bit of Hindi, but then if I start discussing in Hindi, then the topic wouldn't be over even in 7 hours. Okay. See, the Hindi that I know is what I learned till my 10th standard, CBSE. I don't know any Hindi out of that. Is there any website for paper trading code? Guys, don't use any website. You write it down. So I'll just quickly show you like how we kind of actually maintain. Okay, journal is outside. You maintain a journal. Are you friend with Kumar Jay? So in fact, like Kumar Jay was one of our community members. Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. He's also a community member of ours. Okay. So yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. Yes. And he is also into price action. How much time do we spend on screen? How much spend? That question, I don't know how. It depends on how long your trading is, how long you want to look. So right now, if I don't look into the screen also, it doesn't matter, right? Trade is already risk free. I don't have anything to manage. Now the next time I had to trail, that is when I had to change. Can we get a format for paper trading? I'll do that. Just give me a second. So friends, like some of the things that you could kind of actually just mark would be these. Okay, like the script name, the time, whether it is a long or short position, entry price, stop loss, quantity, percentage of account that you're risking, the target price, exit time, risk reward ratio, P&L, the rules that you looked into, etc. etc. Yeah, any other questions, guys? Please share WhatsApp group again. How to use volume properly using moving average? I don't do that, so it's better I keep my mouth shut. Okay. Will there be any slippage? If you're using limit orders, you won't have any slippage. How can I get the link? I'll upload it on my YouTube. Okay. If US30 increasing crude failing, what to do? Exit. If you are in the trade and if you have your risk reward ratio, everything defined, nothing to do, you stick with it. But if you feel okay, it's going to go for a U-turn, you can consider exiting. Let's see in this case. So right now, US30 also has started showing some weakness. Okay. So if this weakness is actually, if this weakness is to actually continue, then you can exit. Yeah, Malayalathil pattiyo chodikkan. You can ask your questions in Malayalam, Hindi, whatever language you want. I understand a little bit of Tamil. Malayalam obviously is my mother tongue, for sure. I understand a little bit of Tamil. Hindi I understand. Malayalam of course I understand. പറഞ്ഞോളൂ. ഹലോ
ബ്രോ മലയാളി ഇല്ലയോ?
അതെ അതെ അതെ.
ഞാൻ ഇതുവരെ മലയാളം പറയുന്നത് കേട്ടിട്ടില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ചോദിച്ചത്. എല്ലാ ക്ലാസ്സിലും എല്ലാം ഇംഗ്ലീഷും മാത്രമേ സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് കേട്ടിട്ടുള്ളൂ.
അതെ അതെ അതെ, മലയാളിയാണ്.
എവിടാണ് സ്ഥലം? എവിടാ?
എന്റെ സ്ഥലം പ്രോപ്പർ സ്ഥലം വൈക്കം.
വൈക്കം അല്ലയോ? ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. ഞാൻ കുറെ നാളായിട്ട് ഇപ്പൊ ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ആയിട്ട് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ പെയ്ഡ് ക്ലാസ് ഒന്നും അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല.
അല്ല, ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ബേസിക്കലി കൂടുതൽ വെൽത്ത് മാനേജ്മെന്റ് ആണ്, ക്ലാസും കാര്യങ്ങളും ഉണ്ട്, അത്രേ ഉള്ളൂ.
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. ഞാനിത് നമ്മുടെ ഓരോ ഫ്രണ്ട്സിനും ഇത് ഈ ക്ലാസ് ഒക്കെ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട്. കാര്യം നല്ല ഇൻഫർമേഷനും കാര്യങ്ങളും കൂടുതൽ കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ടായുണ്ട്.
താങ്ക് യു.
അന്നേരം ചോദിക്കാനുള്ളത്, എങ്ങനെയാണ് പ്രോപ്പർലി നമുക്കൊരു റിസ്ക് മാനേജ്മെന്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്?
ഓക്കെ, ഞാൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ പറഞ്ഞോട്ടെ, അപ്പൊ എല്ലാവർക്കും. So Albin is basically asking regarding like how the risk can be managed efficiently. Okay, so I guess like his query is based upon okay, so see, what are the biggest problem that happens when you're getting started with trading is that, I'll tell you. So just consider trading to be a business. Just consider trading to be a business itself. So what will happen? Do you think that Ambani will be interested in putting all his money into only the petroleum business? Do you think Mukesh Ambani would be interested? He's a very rich guy, right? So do you think Mukesh Ambani would be interested in putting all his money into a single business? Do you think he'll be doing that? So right now, Mukesh Ambani is into internet. He is into the internet business. He's into the education business, medicine business. They have purchased an online pharmacy. They're into each and everything, right? Clothing, whatnot. So what is he basically doing? So what is he? He's diversifying his risk. Do you know Kannada? No, I don't know. So he's basically diversifying his risk across different multiple businesses. So same way, like when you're trading, somebody who's just getting started with trading, what he'll do is, if I have 10,000 rupees in my demat, entire 10,000 rupee I'll be actually putting into a single stock. Maybe that could be a day trade, that could be a swing trade, that could be a positional trade, whatnot. But full money I'll be putting into a single trade. Now what will happen is the trade goes against me. I'll blow my capital. I'll be blowing my account if the trade actually goes against me, right? So why should you be doing that? Rather, you divide your capital into multiple parts, and you figure out for yourself how much risk you can actually, or how much capital you should be allocating for every strategy. So I know somebody who is just getting started, he'll be like, okay, 10,000, how can I divide it into 2,000 each and take? So I wanted to say, if your capital is less than 1 lakh, you please don't get into F&O. Don't. If your capital is lesser than 3 lakhs, don't get into F&O, I would say. If your capital is less than 1 lakh, you do positional. You can consider taking positional trades. If your capital is 10,000, you divide your capital maybe into 4 parts or 5 parts. 2,000 into 2,000 into 5, 10,000. You take 5 positional trades running parallelly. Then your risk is diversified across multiple positions. Then it is fine. If 10,000 rupees you have, 10,000 rupees you put into a single trade, if that trade goes against you, you lose the money. Don't do that. So that is the first thing when it comes to risk management. It is not only about taking 2% risk per trade or something. You make sure that your risk is diversified across multiple trading systems. So last financial year, we were trading equity intraday, but this year we are not doing it. Why? Because this year we are finding very difficult to trade equity intraday. So same way you figure out what suits you. So right now we are doing equity positional, we don't trade stock options. We don't trade stock options because we don't find a comfort in that. So same way you figure out what all are the segments that suits your style. Not only those segments you trade, don't trade other segments. Then like for example, commodity. If you're trading commodity, don't trade hold a commodity. You trade only the commodity that you are comfortable with. I personally don't trade metals, but our company trades metals. I personally don't trade Forex, but our company trades Forex. Why am I not trading Forex? It's because like I'm not able to give my attention to that. Now, if I want to study Forex, obviously I had to spend a lot of time, but I really don't want to do that because my team is doing it really well. Why should I take extra efforts to study that? Maybe in that process, I lose touch in the things that I'm doing properly. So don't put your legs everywhere. You kind of actually try to figure out what works best for you. You master 1 or 2 segments. That's it. You manage risk efficiently there. Don't get into too many things also. So what I would like to say is you diversify your risk across multiple trading systems, preferably in the very same segment. So these systems should not at all be interrelated with each other. So there is a thing called as correlation of strategies. So all these things are a bit advanced level, what I'm speaking. So just make sure that the strategies that you're following are not at all correlated with each other. So that will ensure that even if one strategy fails, there is no likelihood that the other strategy has to fail, or the result of this particular strategy is not at all dependent on the other. Make sure that correlation is not there. Bank Nifty, I trade Bank Nifty. We trade options. We are majorly into doing directional and non-directional spreads. I don't buy call options, sell call out. I don't buy options just like that. We do spreads. We do non-directional spreads. We do straddles, triangles, covered calls, bear call spread, bull call spreads. All those things we do. Okay. അപ്പോ
ഹലോ കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ? അതെ ഞാൻ ഒരു ഇതോടെ ചോദിക്കുന്നതാണ്, ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യനോട് ചോദിക്കുകയാണ്. ഞാനിപ്പോ ഈ റിസ്ക് മാനേജ്മെന്റിനെ കുറിച്ച് ചോദിക്കാൻ കാരണം ഇപ്പം തന്നെ ഒരു 10 ലോട്ട് 40 ലോട്ടിന്റെ ചെയ്യുന്നല്ലേ പറഞ്ഞേ ക്രൂഡ് ഓയിൽ. അന്നേരം ആ ഒരു എമോഷൻ, നമുക്കിതിപ്പോ ഒരു എമൗണ്ട് കാണുമ്പോൾ ഒരു സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ് സ്റ്റേജ് ആകുമ്പോൾ നമുക്കൊരു ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു എമൗണ്ട് ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ലൂസ് ആകുമ്പോൾ നമുക്കൊരു എമോഷൻ എങ്ങനെയാണ് കൺട്രോൾ ചെയ്യുന്നത്? അതായത് നമ്മളിപ്പോ 1 ലോട്ട്
ഒരു okay, so emotions, if you want to control your emotions, you should get into it. So that's what I said. You get started with trading 1 lot. You paper trade first. Okay. So after paper trading first, then you get into trading real capital.
ഞാൻ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത് ആൾറെഡി തന്നെ കമ്മോഡിറ്റിയിൽ നാച്ചുറൽ ഗ്യാസ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത്. നാച്ചുറൽ ഗ്യാസ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത് ആദ്യമൊക്കെ പ്രോഫിറ്റ് ആയിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ അങ്ങോട്ട് വലിയ 2 ദിവസം നല്ല പ്രോഫിറ്റ് അടിച്ചത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് പിറ്റേ ദിവസം ആയപ്പോഴത്തെ ഫുള്ള് വൈപ്പൗട്ട് ആയി പോയി. അത് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത് ആലിസ് ബ്ലൂവിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത് അത് അന്ന് ലിവറേജ് ഉള്ള ടൈം ആയിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പം മാറി പിറ്റലാൽ ഓസ്വാലായി. പക്ഷെ മോഡലാൽ ഓസ്വാലിന്റെ മെയിൻ പ്രോബ്ലം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഭയങ്കര തലവേദനയാ. ഒരു ഓർഡർ ഇടാൻ ഭയങ്കര തലവേദന, ഭയങ്കര പാടാ. എന്തൊരു മെനക്കെട്ട പരിപാടി എന്താ. അതും സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ലോസ് നമ്മൾ ഇത് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ, അതായത് ട്രയൽ ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ ഭയങ്കര മെനക്കെട്ട പരിപാടിയാണ്.
അതെ, ശരിക്കും നമ്മൾ ടെർമിനൽ വഴിയാണ് ട്രേഡ് ചെയ്യാറുള്ളത്. So our friend is basically saying that earlier he was using leverage. Because of using leverage, he had to wipe out his capital by trading natural gas. So as he said, see, leverage is actually very dangerous. I know many people who were like, by using leverage, they have wiped out their account like 10-20 times. So they're crying that leverage is taken away. See, I honestly know people who have wiped out their account by using excessive leverage like 5-10 times. Okay. But now they're kind of actually crying that, okay, no leverage is there. So they're not going to trade. So that is like a habit. So we don't need any leverage, in fact. So just you trade whatever you are comfortable with. Okay. So people think that 2% or 1% or 2 to 3% per month, they think it is very bad. But just realize for yourself, if you can make a 2 to 3% per month, right, that's great. You don't need any leverage for that, in fact. You need systems at work. You need a mind that you stick with.
Okay. പിന്നെ നമുക്കിപ്പോ ഒരു ബിഗിനറിന് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയതാണ് ഇപ്പം. അതായത് കമ്മോഡിറ്റി സെക്ഷൻ നമുക്കൊരു ബിഗിനറിന് ഇപ്പം ഒരു ലോഡ് സൈസ് ആകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് നമുക്ക് ഒരു സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയ ഏർലി സ്റ്റേജ് ആണോ? കാര്യം സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ്ങിൽ നമ്മളൊരു ലോഡ് സൈസിലല്ലേ നമുക്കിത് കമ്മോഡിറ്റി ട്രേഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ. കാരണം സാധാരണ ഇക്വിറ്റിയിലാകുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഒരു ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റി ഇട്ടായാലും അല്ലാതെ നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. അതേസമയം കമ്മോഡിറ്റി നമുക്ക് ഒരു സ്റ്റാർട്ടിംഗ് സ്റ്റേജിൽ നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയ ഒരു സാധനം അല്ലല്ലോ.
Good question. So what Alvin is asking is a very interesting question. So in fact, like, I personally had this question when I started. Okay, so the question is that he's asking, is it suitable for a beginner to start trading in commodity like crude oil? Why? Because I told you, if you are trading in equity, you can purchase one quantity, two quantity, whatever you want. But when you're kind of actually trading in commodity, the thing is, the minimum size that you'll have to trade is going to be 100 barrels. So his question is that, like, can I actually get started? The answer to that question is, see, when we are trading in crude oil, our average stop loss in crude oil is around 15 to 25 points, between 15 to 25. That is like 20 points. So let's say that you're trading one lot crude. If you're trading one lot crude, what is going to happen is that if you're having a losing trade, then you will end up losing 20 points. Let's say 20 points means 20 into 100 barrels. That is 2,000 rupees. So 2,000 rupees is going to be the average loss that you'll take in every single trade. Now the question is, will you be comfortable in taking a loss of 2,000 rupees? So if you're fine, okay, I'm fine in taking a loss of 2,000 rupees per trade, then it is fine. You can trade in crude. You can get started, nothing wrong. But let's say that you are panicking. That is, you are getting a big, you are not having control of your emotions because you feel, okay, I'm going to lose 2,000 rupees. I can't. Actually, I told you today, like, the risk that I proceed to go was around 25-30K. I'm interacting with around 150 people. I'm taking a trade. I'm putting a stake around 25-30K. So that is what I'm comfortable when I'm interacting with many people. That is what I can manage. The same way you figure out for yourself what you can manage. When you're trading by yourself, you want to focus on the trade. So you really don't want to trail too fast. 2,000 rupees. If you feel okay, that is fine. If you're winning, you should be making 4,000. If you're losing, 2,000. If you can be prepared for that, then you can start. Nothing wrong. But practice. You do virtual practice. So if it was equity, I would say you start with a small capital. But crude oil, I won't ask you to start with a small capital because charges and all are there on the higher side. So you practice with a virtual mode, write down in a piece of paper. Then you think about putting your real hard-earned money. Okay. So Alvin, is it clear?
അതെ അതെ. ഞാനിപ്പോ ഒരു വെർച്വൽ ട്രേഡ്, അതായത് നമുക്ക് ട്രേഡിംഗ് വ്യൂവിൽ നമുക്കിപ്പം പേപ്പർ ട്രേഡ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള സൗകര്യമില്ല.
Trading view ഒന്നും വേണ്ട. You write it down in a piece of paper. See, trading view and all won't tell you what you did one month back. But if you write in a book, that will tell you what you did 1 month back. It will also measure your progress. Trading view won't do that.
Okay.
Trading view won't tell like how good a trader is Alvin. But if you write it in a book, that will be very good for you also. You will gain confidence. Okay, I did this much work. Oh, I have taken 100 trades. And see, can anyone of you tell how many trades you have taken so far? You can't say until and unless you write it down recordically. If you maintain it in a Google sheet or Excel sheet, fine. Until and unless you do that, nobody can say that. Okay. That's why I say you write it down manually. Maybe you keep it in Google sheet or something, fine. But don't stick for trading. You don't look out for any platform and all. You have a pen and paper, right? More than sufficient. Okay. What are the taxes and a second, Alvin? What are the taxes and brokerage for one? Your break even, I said, is going to be 2 points. It's going to be around 250 points after all charges, brokerage, stamp duty, etc. Okay. Alvin, പറഞ്ഞോളൂ.
ഓക്കെ,
ക്ലിയർ ആയോ?
അതെ ക്ലിയർ ആയി. അപ്പൊ ഞാനതിപ്പോ ചോദിക്കാൻ കാരണം, അത് ഞാനിപ്പോ നേരത്തെ അത്ര ലോട്ടിന്റെ ചോദിക്കാൻ കാരണം, ഞാനിപ്പോ ഒരു സ്റ്റുഡന്റാ. സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ് ആയതായിട്ട് കഴിഞ്ഞ ലോക്ക്ഡൌണിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തതാണ്. പക്ഷെ അത് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തതും കമോഡിറ്റിയിൽ അറിയാതെ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തത്. കമോഡിറ്റി സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞു. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ, ഫുൾ ക്യാഷും വൈപ്പോട്ടായി പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞ്. പിന്നെ അത് മാനേജ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാതെ പിന്നെയും നാച്ചുറൽ ഗ്യാസ് അഗൈൻ ട്രേഡ് ചെയ്ത് അങ്ങനെ കുറെ സംഭവങ്ങൾ നടന്ന് ഇപ്പോഴും സ്റ്റിൽ ഇപ്പൊ ഒന്നും ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. ഇപ്പൊ ഓൺലി സ്റ്റഡിങ് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ. ക്രൂഡ് ഓയിലും നാച്ചുറൽ ഗ്യാസും എല്ലാ ഡെയിലി ചാർട്ട് അനലൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ. ഇപ്പൊ സ്റ്റിൽ ആയിട്ട് ഒന്നും ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല.
മതി. So you study right now. See, the more screen hours you spend, the better you get it. Okay. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you. So Alvin is a student. Okay. So Alvin, yeah. So you spend your time for studies. That's great. Okay. So yeah, somebody else was asking a question. Thank you, Alvin. What are the taxes and brokerage? That's what I said, man. Per lot, it will cost you around 200 rupees something after all charges. 200.
ഹലോ കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ?
ചോദിച്ചോളൂ.
ആ മോട്ടിലാൽ ഓസ്വാലിൽ നമുക്ക് അത് നമ്മുടെ ബ്രോക്കറേജ് റെഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്തുകൂടായോ?
ഇതാണ് ഏറ്റവും ലോവസ്റ്റ് ബ്രോക്കറേജിലാണ് ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ എടുക്കുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് മുംബൈ ഓഫീസിൽ നിന്ന് സ്പെഷ്യൽ ഗൈസ് ലൈക്ക് സി വി ഗോട്ട് എ സ്പെഷ്യൽ പെർമിഷൻ ഫ്രം ദ മുംബൈ ഓഫീസ് ഓഫ് മോട്ടിലാൽ ഓസ്വാൽ to bring down the brokerage charges as well as to increase the margin. It's the lowest. So in fact, like the charges over here is just like, I guess, 100 rupees extras. Around 100 rupees extra. It's just going to be like 0.01% extra, 0.1% extra as compared to Serola. That's it. So we can't bring down the charges here after because we also have operating costs and expenses, right? So this is the cheapest we can provide. So we got a special permission from the broker, from Motilal Oswal, to provide cheapest rates for our clients. In fact, like for 300 of our clients, 300 of our crude oil trading clients, we have got this permission right now. So for each person, we are sending separate means to activate the margin and to reduce the charges. So this is a special permission.
Sir, I have opened the account, but I haven't activated the margin yet. So if I
contact Balram, so he handles the part, so he'll help you.
Yeah, I contacted with him and I opened the account. I haven't added funds yet. So post funds, he said he will activate me.
Yeah, you can just text him, he'll do it for you.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah. So any other queries? Any other queries, guys? How much money needed to take today's trade? If you want to trade 1 lot, you just need only 12,000 rupees. I have more money than that, but why should I tell you? Okay. You need only 10,000 rupees to trade 1 lot. The 10,000 to 12,000 rupees. Can you share the link of Motilal? Yeah, I'll share it in group. I'll share it in the group. I'll share everything that you have asked. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so right now, guys, like it seems like crude is slowly starting to show a rejection. Okay, seems like crude oil is gradually starting to show some sort of a rejection. So we'll wait for one more candle, and if again rejection means we'll come out. Okay, again rejection means we'll just come out of our trade. So gradually crude oil is showing us some rejection from the top. And yeah, so any questions? Come on, can you conduct one more live trading? Yeah, I'll conduct, don't worry. Just check out my availability. Maybe the next week, maybe the next Tuesday or something, we can do it again. Yeah, crude is showing rejection, guys. It's time for us to come out. 6138. Okay, 6233 right now. Okay, 6233, 6234. Okay, yeah, we are coming out of the trade. Yeah, we're just coming out. Okay, so yeah, I guess friends, like, so we had a very good interaction. I suppose that I have been able to clarify a lot of queries related to crude, and like some concepts I was able to show it to you in real-time markets, I suppose. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. I'll give you the recording. I'll share it on the group. Okay. So thank you. Have a great day. Good night. So we have done a 2 hour anyways. So whatever we have kind of actually risked, we have made double of that. So we came out with a 40K. So that is usually like my risk. 40-50K is usually the risk that I take in a trade. So we have taken out the risk. Okay. So thank you all. Have a great day. So let's catch up sometime later. Okay. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Okay, good night.